I warmly welcome all the delegates and invitees to this keynote session. A humble request, we have, as I have just introduced, an erudite speaker, and I request all of you to interact with Sir and gain from the wealth of knowledge that he is going to share with us. Over to Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Catherine Rao, for your overly generous introduction. I am deeply touched by the courtesies extended to me. I'm delighted and honored to be with you today to share some of my thoughts on how financial resilience can be built. I have been asked to talk on the theme of financial resilience. Initially, I thought I will talk about a company that I admired the most, Berkshire Hathaway, run by Warren Buffett. Then I realized that many of you would find Indian examples more relevant. So I will build my talk around a lot of Indian and foreign examples. I've been very fortunate in interacting with business leaders in India and abroad, in looking at the literature in the field, and also in advising companies. When you ask a very simple question, what's the purpose of the business school? The answer is the primary objective of business school is to create value. The purpose of a medical school is to promote health. The purpose of a law school is to promote justice. The purpose of a business school is to promote wealth creation or value creation. Please understand this basic reality. All business entities are meant to create economic value. I have been looking at this phenomenon in the last 30 years based on my research and interaction with a number of industries in India and abroad. I realized that there are 8 drivers, levers, or pillars, or whatever you call them, of creating value, which I organized in the form of a value octagon, which is the theme of my book, Strategic Financial Management. My talk today will discuss these 8 levers and how companies have used these 8 levers for creating value and building financial resilience. I repeat once again, the primary objective of a business is to create long-term economic value in a legal, ethical, socially responsible, and environmentally friendly manner. It is not just value creation, it is value creation which is legal, ethical, socially responsible, and environmentally friendly. There has been a long debate in finance about shareholder wealth maximization versus stakeholder value creation. To my mind, this debate is somewhat misplaced. I believe that there is a symbiotic relationship between shareholders and other stakeholders. No company can create long-term value without protecting the interest of stakeholders. Likewise, unless it creates economic value, it cannot protect the interest of stakeholders. A company which doesn't create economic value will eventually close down. It will not be able to protect the interest of its stakeholders. If you look at companies like Air India and others which are losing money, they cannot survive unless they are economically viable. I have a very simple test of economic viability. Is your return on capital employed greater than cost of capital? If a company can earn return on capital employed greater than cost of capital over a period of time, it creates economic value. If it fails to do that, eventually it is jeopardized and threatened. It will not be able to protect the interest of other stakeholders. So we talk of enlightened value maximization, where we look at the symbiotic relationship between shareholders and other stakeholders. This is a very interesting statement, personally crafted by Narayan Murthy when he was the chairman of Infosys. Corporate governance is about maximizing shareholder value legally, ethically, and on a sustainable basis. while ensuring fairness to every stakeholder, the companies, customers, employees, investors, vendor partners, the government of the land, and the community. I wrote a case on Infosys, and the case was vetted by Mr. Narayan Murthy, and this is a statement drawn from that case. If you look at the most admired companies in the world, the list will include companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Intel, Berkshire Hathaway, TCS, Sun Pharma, Infosys, M&M, HDFC, on and on. This table is slightly old, maybe a few months old. If you look at the market capitalization of some of these companies, you realize how much wealth they have created. And Apple is at the top, 926.9, Amazon.com, Alphabet, Microsoft, Facebook, Alibaba, Berkshire Hathaway. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. Why is it that the US progressed so much from 1946 to now? In 1946, the US and the USSR were at par in economic terms. If you look at the economic statistics of these two countries in 1946, the US and the USSR were at par. The USA has surged ahead and is several times bigger than the USSR. The GDP of USSR may be $2.5, $2.8 trillion. US is close to $17, $18 trillion. To my mind, the answer is very simple. The US has a free enterprise system which encourages companies to create economic value in a legal, ethical manner. It is companies like these which have created enormous prosperity in the US. And we are finding a similar phenomenon happening in India. Since I've been teaching management from 1969, this is almost the 50th year of my teaching. In those days, we lived in a very regulated environment. After 91, the scenario changed dramatically, and companies had freedom to create greater value in an unrestrained manner. See the outcome. It is there for you to see. TCS has a market capitalization of 764,000 crores. How do you define market capitalization? It is a very simple calculation. TCS has some number of shares outstanding. When I prepared the statement, they had about 400 crore shares outstanding. TCS had about 400 crore shares outstanding, and each share of TCS was selling in the market for 1800 to 1900 rupees. So if you multiply 400 by 1900, you get 764,000 crore rupees. As a student of finance, I look at the balance sheets of companies in India and abroad to understand what they are doing, and the latest balance sheet of TCS is very revealing. All of you as students of commerce and management know what net worth is or what shareholders' funds are. So if I look at the balance sheet of TCS, shareholders' funds may be 80,000 crore or thereabout. And you find that the market capitalization is 760,000 crore. What is the difference called? 760,000 crore less 80,000 is called market value added. Please get that number clearly in your mind. TCS has taken 80,000 crore rupees from its shareholders over a period of time, because the net worth reflects the amount of capital raised initially and retained earnings over a period of time. This is value creation, and the kind of prosperity TCS has created has been emulated by many other companies. Other examples are Reliance. HDFC Bank is a classic example of value creation, a bank which came into existence barely 22 years back. And today its market capitalization is 566,000 crore. I had an opportunity of looking at some of these organizations, and I realized that they have done remarkably well. The kind of economic prosperity that we are seeing today is mainly because of dynamism in the corporate sector. Let me emphasize that if we didn't have such dynamic and value-creating organizations, we would not have achieved the kind of growth that we have achieved. So value creation, as I see, happens when an organization is able to use these levers effectively in a coordinated manner. Today I'll illustrate my experience with some of these companies and what they have done to create value. Let us look at strategy. Strategy is about searching for sources of competitive advantage. It involves matching a firm's capabilities with the opportunities present in the external environment. Two companies which come to my mind readily when I talk of very well-crafted strategy in India are HDFC Bank and Maruti Suzuki, two leaders in their respective segment who have crafted a very intelligent strategy to create enormous value. This is what HDFC Bank has done. I have some idea about the beginnings of this bank because its parent is HDFC, the largest mortgage finance company in the country. And when H.T. Parekh was the chairman of HDFC, I had an opportunity of meeting him in 1977 in Mumbai, and I was surprised. This was the largest and the first mortgage finance company in the country. I went to his office as a student of finance. I found that he was operating from a small cubicle, 10 feet by 10 feet, with Spartan furniture. I said, "Sir, you are the chairman of the largest mortgage finance company. Is this your office?" I had the temerity to ask that question. He said, "Yes, this is my office, and I want to set standards of frugality and economy from day one." And those standards have served HDFC as well as HDFC Bank. There's no flamboyance about HDFC Bank, unlike the kind of flamboyance you see in other companies. So this is what they have done, and they have developed innovative products and services. I'm sure most of us here bank with HDFC Bank. Leverage on technology platform, maintain high asset quality through disciplined credit risk management, focus on healthy earnings growth and low volatility. The second example that comes to my mind is Maruti Suzuki. I have had an opportunity of interacting with the senior executives of these companies in some context or the other, so I asked them questions which help me in understanding the drivers of value creation. Maruti Suzuki has used cost leadership, product differentiation, and a focus on developing unique position in industry. It's the lowest cost manufacturer of automobiles. It differentiates itself by its distinctive Japanese design. So you have cost leadership as well as product differentiation combined, making it a very powerful vehicle of value creation. I greatly admired Bharti Airtel for its innovative business model. Some of you may know that Bharti Airtel was promoted by Sunil Mittal in 1995. Telecommunications is a highly capital intensive sector and a highly human resources intensive sector. A telecommunication company has to invest tens of thousands of crores and employ tens of thousands of people. And when Sunil Mittal thought of starting Bharti Airtel, people said he has absolutely no chance of surviving in this sector when you had entrants like Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis with deep pockets. Undeterred, Sunil Mittal set up the company, and he did something which is revolutionary in the annals of management. He introduced what is called as reverse outsourcing of IT operations and telecom network infrastructure management. He realized that he did not have in-house capability, so he employed IBM to do its IT work. The first company from India to use IBM, we called it as reverse outsourcing. You know, Indian IT has thrived on outsourcing by the US company, but here is an Indian company which outsourced its IT operations to IBM. And many people said that he is ceding the core of his business to an external vendor, and that might be the death knell of Bharti Airtel. Undeterred, he went ahead and even outsourced telecom network infrastructure management to